It's not morning, it's afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ellie. Good afternoon, Jen. Jen, my wonderful mod. Good morning, Helena. Afternoon, Helena. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Good afternoon, Team Wicked Smile. Good afternoon, Stephanie. Stephanie, you sent me a cash app, and I meant to tell you thank you for days. So thank you so much, Stephanie. Um, Good afternoon, Montana. We are on Verdict Watch. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? What do you think is taking them so long? What do you think? Do you feel like they're back there and they're like, look, y'all, we can't just walk out of here. We got to act like we're doing something. I'm hoping that's it. Don't mind the pimple patches. Y'all know what time it is. Like, y'all should know me by now. Okay? Yes, there's a pimple patch on my face. There's actually two, and y'all gonna have to deal. When are we thinking the verdict comes back? Helena, no. No. Stop right there. Helena J, not Helena Frost. Well, actually, both Helenas, now that I just read your comment too. Helenas, relax. Relax. I don't think they're contemplating guilty on everything. There's two things happening, I think. First of all, I think the verdict comes back, if not later today, before lunch tomorrow. If later today, before lunch tomorrow, if they're arguing over anything, I think it's the drunk driving one. I think it's the drunk driving one. And we have to be aware of how terribly annoying the verdict forms are. I think that Judge Beverly Canone wanted the verdict forms to be incorrect and wanted them to be confusing because she heard, like we heard, what the last jury said. They didn't understand. They didn't know that they could choose not guilty on the rest of the charges and be hung. She knew that. She heard that. She heard that. And she wants it to go the same exact way. She wants to go the same exact way. That jury form for the, I think it's the second charge where, first of all, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. There should be a place to put not guilty on every charge and every lesser included. That's number one. The verdict form reads like, actually, I have it. Let's see if I can pull it up. Let's see if I can pull it up for you guys. Let's see. Okay, so it says I'm sharing, but I don't know if you guys, can you guys see it? Say yes, because I can't tell if you can see it or not from my the screen I'm looking at. Can you see the verdict form? Can you guys see what I see? No, you can't. Of course not. Okay, let's figure this out. Oh, because I didn't add it to the stage. My bad. There you go. All right. So, first charge, murder in the second degree. That's only one charge. Not guilty, guilty. This is the form. This is the form that will hang them. Because, first of all, guilty of OWI, I feel like they could be arguing over that. There are usually jurors who go, we got to give her something. We got to do something. For some reason, there are jurors who feel like they can't come in there and walk out of there with a not guilty. I don't know why. People are weird. There are jurors that would be like, well, we got to do something. She did something. But look at this verdict form and why it's so terrible. You have not guilty of the offense charged or any lesser included offense. That means they are not guilty of everything on this page. Right? Okay, but what happens if they say, okay, guilty of the offense discharged, manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle? What if they say, okay, not guilty here, guilty of lesser included offense, involuntary manslaughter, not guilty here, guilty of lesser included motor vehicle homicide, not guilty here. But we don't know whether or not we want to do. We're fighting over. Hey, here comes drama. We're fighting over this one. We don't know what we want to do. We're fighting over this one. How do you let them know that you're not guilty on the rest of these? How do you let them know that? Where's the thank you? Here comes drama stopping through and dropping off a membership. Make sure you say thank you if you got a membership. But how do you know? How do they let the court know? Where do they put it? Where do they put it? I think if they're arguing about anything, it's this operating under the influence of liquor. And I think they're arguing because it's somebody in there who's like, well, she said she shouldn't have been driving. She said it. She even said it. Shut up. Shut up. But how do you let them know that? So it looks like you're hung on manslaughter when actually you're hung on OWI. And she doesn't poll the jury. She doesn't ask them any questions. She doesn't do anything. She just says, oh, y'all hang? Okay, goodbye. I think this is the same reason why they were hung last time. Because they don't know how to fill out this form. And I don't even think it's they don't know. You can't. You can't fill out this form. How do you fill it out? How do I say, I'm not guilty, not guilty? We don't know what, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. We don't know what we want to do here. How do you let them know? You just have to be hung on the whole slip. It's ridiculous. And I think she wants it that way. She loves it. She loves every bit of it. She goes above and beyond to screw Karen. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Ellie. She loves it that way because, well, it's not, it's the Constitution, findings and case law. So what? So what? Why can't you be the one? Why ever make it eat harder and not easier? Who's it gonna hurt to be like, okay, fine. If you want to put not guilty by everything, fine. Who's it gonna hurt? Who's it gonna hurt? It's only gonna help. There's only one reason you say no. There's only one reason you say no. In my opinion. In my opinion. There's only one reason you say no. In my opinion. But we know who we're dealing with. Vladimir Putin up there. But what do y'all think they could be? Okay, again, I think after lunch today, before lunch tomorrow, or they might even want their lunch tomorrow. But I think if they go past Tuesday, they're over it. They've been there for 8 weeks. I don't think you keep me in there that long. We can't agree. We out of here. We can't agree. We're out of here. You know what, Helena? Someone else has been asking me, how do you do memberships on your phone? I know there's a link in the description of the video, but I don't even know. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to ask my best friend ChatGPT when I get off of here later. And I'm going to come back with some information because people have been asking me that and I don't know. Y'all know I barely know how to work this. I don't know. But okay, we're gonna have an exercise, you guys. We're gonna play a little game. We're gonna play a little game. We're going to play the game of what the other side could possibly be arguing. I always like to try to stay open-minded in this thing. I like to try to stay loose, you know, try to figure out if somebody comes to me with an argument from the other side, I already know what it is and I like to have a response. What do you think Somebody from the other side could be arguing. I got nothing. No, for real. Like, I because they're talking about something. If everybody walked in there and was not guilty, they'd be done. Unless they just want to talk about the trial because they haven't been able to talk to anybody about it. But that would take an hour. So they're arguing about something, and I want to know what it could be, because I feel like every argument I try to come up with in my head for the other side, it quickly falls out because it quickly falls out because I automatically have an argument for why that doesn't make sense. So I just want to know, if we put ourselves in the Ken Reed is guilty shoes, what do you think what do you think they're standing on? What do you think they're standing on? Because I don't know. Every time I try to think of something, I blow my own self out of the water. You think they're arguing those clips? But what did she really say in the clips? What did she really say in the clips? Maybe they just want lunch. They could be reading the text messages, but that could be an hour. Like, that doesn't, they've been technically, I mean, it feels like a long time because we went over the weekend, but I think technically they've only been deliberating for about 4 or 5 hours. I'd be ready to go. Do you hear me? I would be like, look, what y'all want to do? Because I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'd be ready. Like, whoever is hanging this jury, I'd be ready to tell the judge, we can't make a decision. Already 4 hours in, we can't make a decision. Because this is my thing, that I feel like this case specifically has been one of the few cases where it's like you're either on one side of the other and you cannot be brought to the other side. So I don't think it takes that long to figure out whether or not they're hung up on something. This is one of those cases. I don't think I've ever seen a case like this where you're either she did it or she didn't, and you cannot be convinced the other way. Like, you cannot be convinced the other way. So I would not sit there for 10 hours arguing with y'all. I would be like, look, you're never going to make me think she did it. And I think the people who think she's guilty, no matter what you tell them, they will never believe she didn't. You could look at those scratches on the arm and be like, you're going to tell me that came from a taillight? And they'll look at you dumb in the eyes and say, yeah, but she said she hit him. But they're taillight pieces. Why did she tell Jen that he's dead? Nobody believes Jen but you. But this is the thing. This is one of those cases where it's like, I'm not about to sit in here 11 hours arguing with you. I don't think she did it. You can't make me believe she did. You think she hit him. I can't make you believe she didn't. Let's get up out of here. Let's get up out of here. And I could not wait to get in front of the first camera I saw and be like, that's the motherfucker that was... That's the one that was hanging us up. Because we've been ready to go. But I think it may be that drunk driving charge, and I think it may be that verdict form. They don't know what to do. They don't know. There's nothing for them to do. That verdict form is terrible, and I don't understand her hesitancy to make it easy as it can be. There's no harm in making it as easy as it can be. Besides, you just don't want to. The same reason when they asked her, can you remind them that the rock wasn't there? And she said, no. What's the harm in that? Why not make it as easy as it can be? Why is it making it? She's such a weird. Oh, I cannot stand that lady. I can't. This is taking too long. It's really hasn't been that long, if we're being honest. It just, like I said, I think it feels long because we have a weekend. So it's really not been that long. Um, but they are arguing about something. And I don't see how. After the defense put on their case, I don't see how you could be arguing about anything unless you were already guilty and you just decided to disregard everything the defense said. I don't see how you, after the defense put on such an amazing case with so much reasonable doubt, I don't see how you argue that as unreasonable. That's the thing. That's the thing. You have to say that the defense case is unreasonable. And that just means that you didn't even listen to it. You just decided really early on that she did it and nothing. But again, this is a case where you cannot be convinced the other way. You cannot be convinced the other way. And you would not hold me hostage for 3 extra days. I would be gone. Unless y'all, they just in there chilling because they don't want to go back to work. Somebody in there like, look, can y'all just hang on with me till this project at work get done? Then I'll go back. If I go back now, they gonna make me go. There may be somebody in there like, look, y'all, I'm with you. I'm with you. We gonna do not guilty. But can we just chill out until Thursday? I'm not ready to go to work. Because if their job is like my job will pay me full pay if I have jury duty. For every day I'm out of work, they're going to pay me like I'm at work. Full pay. So I'll be in there like, y'all want to stay till Friday? Let's just have another weekend. We just chilling. We get lunch every day. I mean, let's just chill out. You never know. Anything could happen in the jury room. Anything can happen. We get lunch every day. We just come, we take a nap, get your book, work on your side hobby, and we just chill out till Friday. Then we can all go back to work on a fresh week. A deliberation vacation. Exactly, Ashley. Exactly. I'm telling you, I will be in there like, listen, y'all, we made a decision, but can we just start on a fresh week? I don't want to go back to work on a Wednesday. Let's just chill out. They waiting. Let's build up the suspense a little bit. But if they're in there arguing about anything, now we stressed out because they playing. I think if they don't have a verdict by Wednesday, nobody's going to stay in there. They're going to say we can't make a decision. If they don't have a verdict by Wednesday, somebody's going to be like, I'm not sitting here with you people anymore. We can't make a decision. Listen, let's keep them sitting on pins and needles for another day. Somebody watching the news, somebody know that people are out here with their ear to the streets waiting on the verdict. They like, listen, y'all, if we just keep them guessing. Because I don't know what they're talking about. No way they're guilty on anything that involves her hitting him with a car. No way. Hank Brennan's closing didn't even convince you that he was hit with a car. Like, it just told you that she's terrible and Jen McCabe is a soccer mom, which, and, you know, John O'Keefe was a great dude. That's it. That's it. He didn't even tell you that there was a collision. He told you we don't know when, we don't know where, we don't know how. but there's tail light pieces. And we don't even really know where those tail light pieces are. You know why? Because all we got is close-up photos that could be from anywhere on anything in the snow. We don't even know where the debris field is. So he didn't even convince y'all that there was a collision. If somebody comes out of there really believing that she hit him with a car when there was not one person with doctor in front of their name that would agree with that, you were guilty when you walked in. And you'll never convince me of that. You'll never convince me otherwise. I just don't see guilty on anything but maybe drunk driving. And then I could see some people not even wanting to give that, which is why I think that's the charge they're hung up on. But also, they don't know how to fill out that form. They don't know what to do if they want to say not guilty on everything else. If it was me, I would write not guilty on there so you know what we mean, even though it's not there for me to do. I do not see guilty in this case unless you were already guilty. But even if there's some people that are guilty, I don't see all 12 being guilty. So it's just going to be another hung jury. It's either not guilty or hung. I don't think you get 12 people to say guilty. If you do, I will go to my grave assuming that this jury was tainted. If you get 12 people to agree to guilty, I'll go to my grave believing that this jury was bought and paid for. Because no freaking way. No way. Yes, thank you, Jared. The merch link is listed in the bio. And if you've ordered something, let me know. Because I've sent Here Comes Drama some merch, and of course Jen won her merch, and I'm not liking the shipping times. So let me know how you guys feel about it. This is why we have quality control. Once Jen gets her merch, she's gonna tell us how she likes it. She's gonna tell us how she likes how it feels. But if you've ordered something, let me know. Let me know how you like it. Let me know how long it took to get it. All of that, because I'm working on some stuff. But yes, thank you, Jerry. And make sure you like the video. Do y'all see me? Do y'all see me getting all YouTubey? I remembered all by myself to say like the video. Listen, if they come back at 227, it's not guilty. If they come back at 227, Ellie, it's because it's not guilty and they really want to give their middle finger to Hank Brennan. How many of them do you think hates Hank Brennan? I think all of them do. Do you think there's a juror in there who's like, I like him? Really? I think besides the science, Hank Brennan would have lost this case for the Commonwealth. He would, if I was a juror with him as a prosecutor, I go not guilty just based off him, just because I didn't like him. And I'm not even scared to say that. I would absolutely be like, oh, I hate him, so I can't stand him. Not guilty, just based off him. I wouldn't even be listening anymore. For ham sandwiches, like, ugh, shut up. Like, these are the questions you're asking. That's why I can't get to guilty. I can't get to 12 people agreeing to guilty when Hank Brennan's up there asking questions about ham sandwiches. No way. No way. No way. Exactly. And then Alan Jackson calling him out and being like, he's not going to mention it, but he should. And then he didn't mention it. I'd be like, oh, he called you out and then you didn't mention it? He wouldn't. He shouldn't. I knew he wasn't going to. But as a juror, I'd be like, oh, he called you out and you just gone. Okay. At this point, it says the jury has been deliberating for 5 hours. You guys. What are they talking about? We didn't even finish our exercise. Okay, guys. We are, for the next 10 minutes. I know it's hard. But for the next 10 minutes, we are on the Karen Reed is guilty side. What are their arguments? What are they in there fighting about? They're reading the text. That doesn't take 5 hours. What are the people who want to vote guilty? What are their arguments that they're standing on? What do we think that is? Hey, Shy. The clips. Someone else said the clips too. The taillight pieces and the phone not moving. Okay. The taillight pieces and the phone not moving. Okay. Okay. But how do you stand on that argument? Like I have seen people with that argument, but how can you stand on it when I say, okay, and the taillight pieces weren't found until after they had the car in their possession? And I mean, not only after they had the car in their possession, after Tully had seen the car and came to the scene with the taillight pieces. How do you stand on the argument that there are taillight pieces? And how do you stand on the fact that the phone stops moving when before the phone stops moving, he takes 36 steps over 80 feet and locks the phone? And she's already on her way home, has to be, because she makes it home by 12:36. Like, this is why every time I try to come up with an argument for them, I talk myself out of it, and I don't understand how they stand on those facts so sternly, and then you give them that information and they still just go, yeah, well, she said she hit him. And here's my thing about the reverse, y'all, and I've been thinking about this all weekend. They have all this data about her moving forward and then reversing backwards. Why don't they have her route home? Why don't they have the route she took home and how long it took to get her there? Did we ever hear that information? Why don't they have that? They have her phone. Did they never check the location data on her phone? It seems like this is information they should have, the defense or the Commonwealth. Why have we never heard about that? Because I feel like I remember they saying they don't know which route she took home. But why don't they have that? They got a black man as a foreman. Don't get too excited. He does live in Massachusetts, so you know. Her GPS data went missing. Why didn't I know that? Unless he's verbal pharmacy. Is that true? How come all the shit that could actually prove anything is missing? How convenient. And I love that Alan Jackson threw that in there. Higgins and Chief was in there for a wildly long time, and that's the 45 minutes of footage that just happens to be missing. How convenient. I did not know that. I did not know that they deleted her location data or it's missing. That's crazy. She had location off, but the car didn't. Mm, that's crazy. That's awfully convenient. That's awfully convenient. Of course they did. MSP wiped her location data. Of course they did. Because why wouldn't they? Why would we need that? Of course they wiped the location data because you know how it goes. Sometimes it just happens. I think there's someone in that room who's an idiot. That was mean. But sometimes you gotta be mean. There's someone in that room who's an idiot. But I just don't think you'll be able to keep me in there. After 3 hours, I'd be like, okay, so we can't make a decision. All right, gotta go. Gotta go. Because I don't think you can get anybody in this chat right now, could anything not new. I'm sure if you got new information, like a video of her hitting him, sure. But like information you have now, could anything change your mind right now? Could anything change your mind right now? Nope. Nothing. No, nothing could change your mind. And I'm sure that if I go over to the Karen Reed is guilty people and I'm like, okay, but what could change your mind? They'd say nothing. They'd say nothing. They'd have to see Brian Higgins carry John out onto the lawn. That's the only thing that'll change their mind. You won't keep me here for 6 hours when I know you're not going to change your mind. I'm out of here. I'm blowing this popsicle stick. I gotta go. You would not have me sitting in there arguing with you over stuff that I think is basic. First of all, I don't like arguing, even though I'm a lawyer. I don't like arguing people who I think are not people I think who are not intelligent. And I think if you still think she's guilty, you're not intelligent. So I would just shut down. And I would stop arguing with you after about an hour or two. I just shut down. And we can either sit here in silence or we could let them know we can't come to a decision. Because I cannot do it. I cannot argue with somebody I don't think is smart for too long. I'm out. I'm tapped out. I'm going to shut down. Once I say what I have to say, and I feel like I'm very clear, and I feel like it makes perfect sense, and then you repeat something to me that I don't think makes sense, or makes me feel like you weren't listening to me, or makes me feel like you're just not smart, I'm shutting down. I'm shutting down. So either we'd be sitting there in silence, or we go tell them we can't make a decision, and I know it's only been 3 hours, but you don't have to send us back in there. I know that we cannot make a decision. More time's not going to help. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Literally, Elena, unless I see video and I see him fly through the air, you can't make me believe she did it. Nothing else. Nothing else. What the hell happened to the dog? I said that in my closing arguments video. Poor Chloe. Where the hell is Chloe? Chloe got sent over a cliff somewhere, and she was just being a dog. She was just being a dog. Now that we've had our exercise, and before I get out of here because I have a meeting at work, what do we think happened to Officer John O'Keefe. What do we think happened to him? Because at the end of the day, this case is about freeing Karen Read, but it's also about a police officer who died or was murdered. One of the two. What do we think happened to him? Horrible. Here comes drama. Horrible. I think it was an accident and they panicked. I think he got in a fight with Higgins after Karen dropped him off. I think he got into an altercation. The dog attacked him. See, and I've been over this. And I think either because I at first, I'm gonna go through my whole mindset with this case from when I very first started watching it and why I didn't watch it when it was on the first time. I had seen the name Karen Read. You guys know this story. I saw the name Karen Read, and I didn't care to watch it because I felt like I saw John O'Keefe's face and I saw Karen Read's face, and I knew that she was on trial. And in my head, it's a white woman and she killed her husband or her kids. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. White woman on trial, she killed her husband or she killed her kids. It's not always new. So I was like, don't really care to watch that. Start watching it, and then I'm like, okay, so she backed up and hit him with her car. Okay, that's weird. And then I started to hear what the defense was saying. And so then I'm like, okay, so they're saying it didn't happen that way. So I immediately gave her the benefit of the doubt. But here's the thing. I immediately gave everyone else. That's before I heard from Jen McCabe. But I immediately gave everyone else the benefit of the doubt as well. And so at first, I thought what happened once I saw his arm, and I immediately thought that was some type of animal, dog, something, especially by those there's three little scratches at the end that I was like, oh, that's a dog. And I know, or that's some type of animal, because I had a cat scratch me and it looked exactly the same. But at first I gave everyone else the benefit of the doubt. And I thought, okay, so maybe they let the dog out. And he didn't know the dog was out. And when he was walking to the house, the dog ran up on him, bit him. He tried to fight the dog, and then he fell backwards and cracked his head. That's me giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, and that's why nobody saw him, and blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was a good explanation. And then I heard from Brian Albert and Brian Higgins and Jen McCabe and Matt McCabe and Colin Albert. And then I had to take my grace back because y'all are being real weird. Y'all acting real strange for some people that don't know nothing. If they had acted like normal people, I was giving everybody grace. Karen didn't do it and they didn't do it. This was a freak accident. The dog did it, and they didn't even realize the dog did it until after they saw the evidence of John's arm. But the cops had already thought it was Karen, so they started planting evidence. Like, that's what I thought at first. And then I hear y'all talk, and I hear y'all getting rid of phones, and then I hear Jen McCabe talking about, I love it. She's telling them everything. And then I hear Matt McCabe, that big doof, talking about, tell him the guy never came in the house. I'm riding past the Asian house. And then I see Colin McCabe with his scratched up knuckles. And then we got Brian Higgins throwing his phone at the Army base. And I'm like, all right. If Brian Higgins was on trial for this case, I don't know what he did it or not, but I can see a prosecution that proves him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If Brian Albert was on trial for this case, I don't know if he did it or not, but I know that I can see a prosecution where they prove he's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. With just the evidence we've heard in this case. Just the evidence we've heard in this case. So if you have people in this case that you can prove guilty beyond a reasonable doubt with the evidence in this case, then how is Karen also guilty? Doesn't make any sense. Don't know what they're back there talking about. They're about to start pissing me off. At hour seven, do not piss me off. At hour 7, that's enough. That's enough. That is enough. I think you can look over every single piece of evidence in this case in 7 hours. So what else is y'all talking about? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It worries me that they didn't get much of that in. Yes, true. Team Wicked Smart. That's very true. However, I think they went science route, and I am okay with that. Only if this jury just a little bit, just use their common sense a little bit. I think they felt like it's going to be hard for us to convince 12 people that this many people are in a conspiracy, because it is. A lot of people think that everybody's in on the conspiracy, and I never thought everybody was in on the conspiracy. I always thought that there were only 3 or 4 people on the conspiracy, and everybody else was just useful idiots. Everybody else was just useful dummies who just went along to get along. And I think they were afraid of that, and so they went the science route. You'll never get me as a person to vote guilty on someone killing somebody when every single doctor tells me we don't see evidence of them killing. That's just like there's a person dead and they have a wound to their chest that looks like a knife. Okay, looks like a knife. And then you have a person over here saying, I shot him. I mean, I shot the gun. I shot it in his direction. I must have shot. Did I shoot him? I probably could have shoot him. Did I didn't mean to shoot him, but I did shoot the gun in that direction. And I don't know. I think I shot him. I don't know what's going on. I think I shot him. And then you talk to the medical examiner, and they're like, there's no gunshot wound here. I don't see evidence of a gunshot wound. See evidence of a stab wound. No gunshot wound. And then you put that person on trial for murdering someone, saying she admitted to it. She said she did it. Play these clips of her questioning herself on whether or not she shot him. And it's like, yeah, I might have said I did it, but there's no evidence that I did it. So how you just going to decide? How about I was just in shock and petrified? You get 4 doctors up there to be like, there's no gunshot wound. So I don't know. That looked like a stab wound to me. Don't look like a gunshot wound. I don't know. How do you sit in the jury room and be like, yeah, still guilty? I don't know. I don't like it. They get to hour 7 and I want somebody to go knock on the door. I would love to go on the Young Jerks. I love the Young Jerks. Tell them to hit me up. But yeah, hour 7, start knocking on the door, because you can look over every single piece of evidence in this case twice in 7 hours. If they get to 7 hours, it's because they can't make a decision. I don't know what Turtle Boy said about the jury. What did he say? Listen, Ashley, y'all cool? Is y'all cool? Because it's been a long time. Is y'all cool? What y'all need? I'm gonna need to. No way I sit in there that long. No way I sit in there that long. Because I already told you I would have shut down, but I would have shut down by now. You're not gonna get me to talk to you about the same shit for 4 hours. I'm shutting down. Oh, I'm shutting down. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. I'm already a minute late for my meeting. We're still on verdict watch. If they haven't had a verdict, if they don't have a verdict tomorrow, I'm going to come back. We're going to talk about it. We're going to wonder what they're talking about. But I don't see it. I'm going verdict today by 3 or tomorrow by noon. Whatever it is, it's either going to be not guilty or hung. I don't see a world where there's guilty. So I'm just putting that out of my head. We're putting that out of our heads. It's never going to be guilty. It's going to be not guilty or hung. And if it's hung, before I leave, I want to give you this. If it's hung, do y'all think they prosecute again? Or do they offer her the OWI charge as a deal? Yes, Geniality, you think they try her again? You think they spend another $1 million? You think they, oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Y'all really think they would try her again? Ugh. Oh my God. Oh my God. They wouldn't offer that they wouldn't have a choice. I think at this point, if they are hung again, it's ingrained that you're never going to prove guilty in this case unless you buy the jury, and that's what they're going to do the next time. That's what they're going to do the next time. I know trials where they have tried 3 and 4 times, but has it cost this much money? Has it cost this much money? They paid Hank 3. They paid what's the name of it? Not Arca, but Aperture 3 plus. That's $600,000. Plus y'all got them other lawyers just sitting there doing nothing. This is $1 million case for 8 weeks. Y'all got money down there. Y'all got money down there. Ugh, that's ridiculous. Anyway, all right, guys, we will see y'all tomorrow unless they have a verdict today. If I'm not in a meeting, we'll try to stream the verdict together. We're going to see what they do. We're hoping. We're praying for Karen. Because I know she over there on pins and needles. I wouldn't be able to sit down. Do you hear me? I would not be able to sit down. Y'all have a good day. We're still on Verdict Watch. Bye.